Okay, May 25, Saturday of the 3-day weekend in the can. We're almost there. We have some problems that we got to work through yet, but we're getting there. He decided again just to go with rear brakes. We cleaned all the brake fluid out of the front system so it can't leak out. The problem we had was it was leaking in that caliper. So, little issue with the fuel tank. Obviously, this was a rotary valve built engineered cart, right? It's for dual carbs. It's even got a twin throttle cable set up on it. It doesn't have another motor mount on that side, but it was never obviously never intended to run a piston port engine. If we had not used the Donax adapter shaft on the standard left-hand rotation right engine, is usually when you run these piston ports on the right, you put the gear on this side and you invert and use a counterclockwise or reverse rotation ignition rotor. We decided to go Don's way with this little adapter shaft. Sticks out a little further from the engine, so we could have tried to move it all over, but as you can see, we're about. I mean, we can get a little closer, but the issue was, this cart's been sitting for 30 years or more. The fuel line for there was an elbow fitting in here, and very much like the Comet Kart Sales Quicksilver, which this is not. This is a California Quicksilver. Wild Bill, you're going to have to stick your 2 cents in here. I believe the guy's name was Mike Alexander. Mike Alexander was the guy that built these carts. He's the one out in California. He's the one that built this cart. I'm 99% sure. Billy, you're going to have to leave something in the comments here and let us know. But they use these ridiculous, stupid bungs to put fittings in. And when we tried to, because it's in the way of our air, even though we had an angled air filter, that eventually we did get to go on. It wasn't going to clear that fitting there, We do get it on there, but it's leaning right on the fuel tank here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on eBay. Rich used his phone and look around, and we're going to get a uni filter, right? The foam filter with the rubber embossed spigot on it, right? But it'll be foam, which means when it makes contact with the weld on the tank here, unlike this mesh, pleated mesh, stainless steel mesh, would eventually start eating away at this. And Rich is bummed out that we were going to have to drill this, push that thing through and fish it out, and he's just going to weld this up. He's never going to run the full flowing 2 tanks, and that's what these fittings were for. One went to one went to the other. It was for alcohol, for running all that stuff. First of all, we'll never sell this go-kart. It's not going anywhere, and he still wants to just keep it as original as cousin Mike had it. Lord rest his soul. And I get it, man. I really do. I really do. It's just one little spot of weld just to seal the tank up, so we can go ahead and we'll just run fuel from this tank, which is all you need anyway. More than enough for what we're doing. But we got a short list of things to do yet. We got to get the throttle figured out. He's getting a compression spring because the spring that was on this thing was way too hard. He's picking up pipe springs and hose clamps for the pipe. I got to put the pulse line on. I have the special Yamaha pulse line here. Starter nut, left the jam nut and the starter nut in the car that me and the wife went out shopping this morning. Memorial Day deal at Lumberjack convenient hardware stores or whatever you call them. $10 fill-ups on your propane bottles. Every Lumberjack store outlet. So I took 2 of them. I had already got impatient and took 2 of them up there a few weeks ago. So I took the other 2 up there, $10 a piece. Boom, 20 pounds of propane filled up. So that was cool. But I left the starter nut and the jam nut in the car. Because after we went to the lumberjack store, we went to the Neiman's Market, the local little grocery store out here. And of course, I had to get me, for the holiday, I had to get me some double aught beer. Of course, I didn't just get 1 6-pack, I got 2. I got a 6-pack of the Bitburger, and I got that's right, the Stella Artois. You're not going to believe this. A 6-pack of Oberon full alcohol beer, $9.99. The Bitburger was $11.99 with no booze whatsoever, and the Stella Artois was $13.99. But you know what? I'm worth it. So we're saving those. Those 2 6-packs will probably last me all summer, even though they're no alcohols. So I left the starter nuts. I tell you that story because I left the starter nut and the jam nut for it in the console of the car, and then the wife took the car and took off. So we got very little left to do, right? After the pulse line starter nut, we're going to get the Micron 3 from Joe Wallace. Thanks, Joe, for hooking us up and trading this. Everything happens for a reason. I knew it. I knew it. That trip down here is still paying off. Thanks, buddy. So we'll get the Micron 3 on it because it has a head temp and a tack, and that's really all Richie needs. That's all anybody really needs on something like this. We have to take the slippy pipe handle off. We won't be needing any slippy pipes, so we'll take the slippy handle off. We'll take the red eye gauge mount off. You don't need the old red eye. We don't have the red eye gauge anymore, so very little left to do. Richard was really bummed out. He was hoping we could get this thing started and running today. But I told him, listen, he took Thursday and Friday off to add to Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I said, listen, you jabroni, you had 2 days to yourself already. You're going to give me 2 days and still have 2 days to coast on into going back to work on Tuesday. So he wasn't real happy about having to drive back out here tomorrow. But how bad do you want to go for a ride, man? I mean, this is going to be, I'm going to get a little tear in my eye, I think, seeing this thing run around the racetrack. It's been a long, long time. I got VHS videotape of my Ardelt, the water-cooled Comet, on this Kart. And my buddy starting me up in front of my mom's house and running it down the street and coming back. And I was gonna run it. I was gonna drive it like that, Can't remember how it is that Mike's Kart got to my house back then, but yeah, So she's coming around. Those are my front wheels and tires from the F-125. We're not running 5-inch anymore, so they look good on here. They should work good. The circumference is good. Like I said, we went to 10/10 and rebuilt the carburetor and all. So we're just excited. Just excited about getting this thing done and getting Richie back on the racetrack again. Fingers crossed. While he's out turning laps, I'll be working on the Yamaha, trying to get it running. I'll just sneak on out there and bump draft him a little bit. Slingshot. Ooh, Ricky Bobby. Hang in there, Rich. You get yourself to that hardware store in the morning. You call me when you get there, just in case I got some more stuff on the list for you. But that's it. She's coming around, and I'm in a good mood, and I'm not drinking any alcohol beer. We love y'all. Hang in there. It'll get better.